All right, we need a trailer, and then we need ramps for the trailer, and then we need an industrial sewing machine.
Does your mother sew? Boom.
What? Who's there? Connecting rod. That's good. We got the trailer. This was absolute nightmare the last 2 months trying to find a trailer. I never want to go on Facebook Marketplace again. You know, between trying to figure out what trailer I wanted to buy, what I can afford. There were basically two different options. It was either a single axle enclosed trailer with electric brakes. Buy something brand new because it's kind of hard to find them used with electric brakes. Most single axle enclosed trailers, 6x12s, don't have brakes, and the ones that did have brakes, I only found one that did, and it was sold before I could even go look at it. I found another one, but the guy was a complete douchebag. So it was either that or a very bare minimum, absolute lightweight. Just to clarify, this is for the Lotus. We've got a 10-day road trip coming up. I need a trailer to tow it behind the van. And that's kind of why I want to stay with a single axle. So before you guys lay into me in the comments, yes, the best trailer for this case, even for this small car, would be a tandem axle enclosed trailer. Two reasons why I didn't go with that. Mainly budget. I just don't have $6,000 or $7,000 to drop on a trailer right now. I could finance it, but I'm trying to make a habit of not financing anything. Piece of advice I've been hearing more and more over the last year or so I'm really making a point not to. I have like $4,000 left to pay off on the Lotus, and after that, I'm really going to try to not have any loans or finance anything. An equally important factor is the van is underpowered as fuck. It's got the factory 305. It makes like 130 horsepower on a good day, I'm sure. So we're going to be going over mountains. We're going to be doing like 2,000 miles all said and done. Over mountains, over hills, you know, we're going to go slow and steady. So I don't want to carry the extra weight of a tandem axle trailer. Now, there's a few reasons why a tandem axle would be best. And the primary one is just that if you lose a tire, you're not on the side of the road. You could at least get off the highway, get going, get to a safer place or get to your destination, and then worry about changing it flat. To kind of make up for that, I'm going to have 2 additional wheels and tires as spares with us on the trip. But the other thing with the tandem axle enclosed is brakes. They are very easy to find with brakes. I could find a used one, save a couple bucks, but still looking at like $5 or $6 grand to buy a used tandem axle with brakes. Single axle enclosed with brakes is probably the next best thing. It keeps weight to a minimum. I think those are like 1,200 pounds. This trailer, though, this is the absolute bare bones minimum that I can go with still being safe. And I'm still a little iffy about it, but got this thing for $1,400. It's got a little bit of abuse on it, but it's overall pretty solid. It's an aluminum with a wood deck. The guy I got it from put all new wiring on it, put a new deck on it at some point. It did have a gate. I'll show you guys a picture now of what it looked like with the gate on it, but either way the gate was too short, so I'm going to take it off. But on the way home, the trailer decided to do that for me. So luckily I saw it starting to dangle off the back and was able to rip it the rest of the way off, throw it in the back of the van, and continue on home. But this trailer's got to weigh like 300 pounds soaking wet. So this is the absolute bare bones minimum. I think the gross weight for this thing is like 1,500 pounds. The Lotus weighing 1,300 pounds. Yeah, we're going to be like 100, 200 pounds overweight legally. The guy I bought the trailer from already did some reinforcing underneath when he had the deck off and replace the deck. I might throw an extra support or two, but I'm really not too worried about it. I don't advise or suggest you doing the same because, again, this is a 1,500 pound trailer and we're going to be running at about 1,700 pounds all said and done. The car literally just barely fits. Like I was saying, the gate had to come off anyways. The ramps will be here in like 2 days. We got the strap kit for strapping the car down. Once the ramps get here, we'll know where we can put the D-rings on it. We got a little bit of wiggle room front to back. We might have to load the car on backwards because that axle is set back. And the Lotus, without people in it, is a bit nose heavy. Once you get 2 people in it, I think the weight distribution's closer to 50-50. We don't want too much weight on the tongue. That's when you get the wagon tail problem.
Kurwa. No w pizdę daj.
trailer's pretty decent. It'll get the job done. I'll get a season or two out of it. Like I said, this is not the ideal trailer. This is not what I want, but it's what the van is going to be able to comfortably and easily pull. You know, I've had like 3,000 pounds strapped to the back of this thing before, and it does it. But we're gonna be gone for 10 days doing like 2,000 miles. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but in the next year or two, I would hope we're gonna get around to LS swapping this, or I'll have had the chance to get my hands on a more appropriate, more modern tow rig. I love this thing, but you know, if life pans out to me being able to buy a dedicated tow pig, I'm not against it. But right now, the plan stands that eventually this will get LS swapped. Matt's going to help me with that. That's what I traded him the GTI for, was basically labor on the van, both, you know, whether it's maintenance or the LS swap or one or the other. But we're actually going to drop the van off to Matt next week. He's going to get cracking on a few small things like a wheel bearing, the headers are leaking. He's going to sort out a few things before the road trip. Eventually, once my tow rig situation is a bit better and more capable, yes, I'd like to get a proper tandem axle trailer for the Lotus. So, that's the trailer situation. We're going to go on a bit of a rant now. I'm not even going to touch on the whole trailer fiasco, really. Like I said, 2 months of absolute hell dealing with Facebook Marketplace, idiots on there, overpriced stuff, people calling stuff new, used but new, with holes in the front. I'm serious. Look, here's the screenshots. Holes in the front of trailers, and people are calling used but new, basically new. You guys have no idea. Go on Facebook Marketplace and just look at trailers. People are absolute idiots. I don't understand what the fuck is going on with the markets across the board. Because this is why there's going to be a rant video, because getting a rain cover for this car, one of the other downsides of an open trailer, rain. This car has no roof. It has no doors. I have no covers for that. I don't even have a cover for it sitting in the driveway that's waterproof. Luckily, the car already has the provisions for one. Either somebody previously had a cover or put these on just in case. But these are snap buttons. They're on the trunk cover here, just like a boat canvas top. They go all the way around the car, so these cars are very modular in that sense. You could get full-size doors. You could get half doors, roofs. You can make these cars pretty weather-friendly. As you can see, the windshield has snaps across the top half. But the primary concern is just covering the cockpit for rain. So basically, they make what's called shower caps and tonneau covers. A shower cap, basically, like you could get them with a long nose, and it covers the vents and goes up over the whole top of the car. A tonneau cover typically is just covers down here, goes across, covers the seats if it has high back seats, and goes out the back. You can buy these pre-made for your Caterham. This car is a bit different. There's a lot more going on. I'll show you guys a picture of what those look like, what the pre-made covers look like. Those don't even show in stock, so I don't even know if I could get those, even if they would fit. But if you look at the differences between the picture and my car, somebody added this roll bar on. This was the original roll bar, and it seems like this whole assembly was added on along with putting oversized seats in there. So unfortunately, we do need to make a cover that goes all the way over the top. And this part of the rant is much fresher. This was just over the last few days and weeks. Trailer's been 2 months. I kind of got over that. I'm kind of calmed down from that experience. But the last 2 weeks, and even leading up to that, I called a few places to kind of get my feelers out there. But the last 2 weeks specifically, absolute nightmare. I've called all sorts of different shops, upholstery shops, mainly focusing on boat cover shops, canvas shops. Nobody's answering the phone. Nobody's returning my calls. I'm leaving voicemails. And then finally, like 2 days ago, I got out of work in time, and the weather was nice enough to where I just jumped in the car and went to 4 different places. That was the breaking point. The fourth and final shop was the breaking point. The first one, I went to a marina in town, and in their defense, I was staying away from marinas altogether, because in the Northeast, April's like the absolute crunch month for most marinas up here. They're just getting their docks back in the water after a long winter. They're unwrapping customer boats and also getting their customer boats in the water. So I stayed away from marinas altogether, even though I live like a few miles away from several of them. So I called the one big one up in town just for the heck of it. No answer, of course. I just take the car straight there, walk inside, asked him, hey, do you guys do your canvas work in-house? And the guy was hesitant to answer, and I could tell it was more so because the parking lot was an absolute frenzy with like 15 workers, like I said, getting docks and boats in the water. But he was hesitant to answer, and he goes, well, yeah, but what do you want? Like, what do you got? And I tell him, well, it's out in the parking lot. Like, let me show you. He goes, no, I to be honest with you, the best I can give you today is take your name and number and promise that I'll call you back in a few days. And I told him the whole spiel about, like, oh, you know, nobody's returning my calls. This is kind of frustrating. Like, all right, you know, thanks. And he goes, well, let me take your name and number down, and I promise I'll call you in a few days. So that, I'm sure he'll call me, but whatever. Go to another 2 shops, and both of them are closed. Nobody's answering the phone. You know, they got their signs flipped around. They're probably in there working. They just don't want anybody walking in and bothering them. Whatever the case may be. The fourth and final one, this was the last straw. This was, it was a auto, home, and marine upholstery shop. They had on their website, they do boat covers, interiors, car covers and interiors, home reupholstery and stuff. Call them up. They say, yeah, bring it on by. They take a look at it, and the guy's like, well, you know, he's kind of, you could tell he's never done anything like this before. And I get it, it's unique, but it's a boat cover. Just like a center console in a boat. Like, I get it, it's a bit odd, but it's the same idea. A cover with a couple bends and cuts in it. You know, he kind of doesn't know where to begin, and he asked me, what do you expect to pay for this? So I told him about the ones you could pre-buy. I'm like, I know that's not the case. I can't just buy it, but they're like $200 or $300 shipped. I'm expecting to pay a little bit more than that through a boat shop. You know, this isn't too wild of a job. I'm not asking you to make anything super crazy. The snap buttons are already on the car. That's one of the harder parts of the job, I would think, is securing the snap buttons on the car. Those are already done. Tells me right away, goes, no, it's going to be way more than that. And I said, what, like $1,000? And he says, yeah, at least that. You know, I told him, I'm not going to sit here and haggle you. I get it. If that's what you think it's going to cost, that's fine. I appreciate your time. I'm going to keep trying to find an actual boat canvas guy who do this job a little bit quicker and, you know, is a bit more comfortable with it. And he goes, oh, you know, we do plenty of boats. And I said, in my head, I'm like, well, not enough then if you think that that's going to be a 12-hour job. Not for nothing, it's to the bottom of the windshield, up over the roll bar, to the back of the car. So it's just like a tent. You know, realistically, yeah, I'd be okay spending $600 for just that one cover. I get it. But I'm not spending $1,000 on that. I'd rather go to Home Depot, get some tarps, and bungee it on the car, real ghetto-like. Instead, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to try to do the job myself with no upholstery experience, and I'm going to try to do it in less than the 12 hours that he said it was going to take him. So without further ado, I present to you guys the beginnings of Rabbit Hole, Lotus cover, and canvas. Because, I mean, how hard could it be? We're going to find out. Either I'm going to fuck it up, or I'm going to save myself $1,000. Because I got this bad boy for the sweet low price of $3.99. Yeah, $3.99. It's all coming together already because I'm on Facebook Marketplace. I'm looking at sewing machines, and there's all these little Susie homemaker ones, countertop portable ones that I know just aren't going to cut it for canvas and leather work. So I come across these old vintage Singer industrial machines. They're all over the place for like $200-$300, good working order. So I'm like, okay, you know, $200-$300, still not ideal, but like, I think that's doable. And then no joke, one pops up for $100, just gets listed. She says first $100, takes it. She says it works and stuff. I sleep on it at night, make sure that this is something I want to dive into before I regrettably like hate my life over it. I wake up the next day and say, yeah, let's just do it. We could learn this. And so I message her saying I'll take it. When I get out of work, I'll come grab it. And she comes back with saying she doesn't know what time she's going to get out of work. Could be 6, 7 o'clock. And she's like an hour away. So, you know, just not enough time in the day. I'm already kind of like, ugh. All right, let's do it. No joke, while I'm on my lunch break, scrolling through Marketplace, an hour ago, gets listed free. This one. Even closer. That other one for $100 was an hour away. This one was 20 minutes away. Message her right away. She goes, oh, somebody's supposed to be coming to get it. Yada, yada, yada. I go, okay, well, I'm looking at buying one in Jersey when I get out of work, so please let me know if they don't show. I get out of work. I go, hey, any update? You know, I'm about to head down to Jersey. Just kind of bluffing her. And she comes back with, I haven't heard from them, so come get it. Sick. This thing's in incredible shape. Look at the motor. It looks like brand new. This thing's probably 50, 60 years old at least. And I mean, the color is so awesome. Not that I am getting into this because the color's cool, but like the color matched tag on the motor, that's so sick. They don't make stuff like this anymore. And of course, on the way home, like I'm obsessed with the color. And on the way home, table falls over in the back of the van because I'm an idiot and didn't strap it down. Shattered the entire light, and I was literally heartbroken because that was honestly like one of my favorite parts. Like shattered into a million pieces. Lo and behold, after spending the better part of 3 hours on an autism-fueled obsession gluing this back together, and then figuring out how the hell to get this thing in operation and confirm that it actually works. We be stitching, guys. We got this. I'm telling you, we fucking got this. We're gonna do this. Not that I expected sewing machines to be super simple, but I did not realize how many little moving parts there are. Like, for example, down here, you got this little hoodad. They call it the bobbin, and this has a roll of thread in it. It's got to get threaded a certain way. Around it is like this cage that like rocks back and forth to catch the thread as it goes down. So, to those of you who are still watching this ridiculous belligerent rant, that should all pretty much summarize why I haven't been working on the rabbits and specifically the swallowtail, because I've been working on this bucket list item or two at this point. I've been wanting to get to Tail the Dragon for well over a decade now. Ideally, I'd like to get down there in Supermoto, but, you know, we'll get there when we get there. Next best thing is in a Lotus 7. So, you know, it's no cheap task. We're going away for 10 days. We're sleeping in the van for the first couple days. Airbnbs the rest of the trip. You know, between the trailer, the car. There's lots of stuff, lots of money to throw at it. It's had my finances tied up entirely. I wasn't sure if I was going to spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 on a trailer. You know, there was a lot of uncertainty financially. It's not that I've been physically working on anything for this trip. I've just been saving my money, not buying any kind of rabbit parts. I haven't even registered the Silver Rabbit yet. That's like, I've been spending no money on anything if I don't have to. Just so I could get this trailer, get the car ready, you know, get ready for this trip, paying for the trip itself. So that's where we stand. I know I sound like a fucking broken record here, but that's why we have not made any progress on the K-Swap. I'm focusing on this bucket list item. I'm actually doing two. Doing the whole Blue Ridge Parkway. We're going to drive down it the whole way. We're going to hit Tail of the Dragon and then spend a couple days in Georgia. I'm super pumped for it. Placed the order for the tonneau cover material this morning. Should be here sometime next week. So about a week or two, you guys will get an update and we'll kind of know if we're going to be able to do this or not. We're going to learn upholstery work. Either it's going to come out looking half decent or like hammered dog shit, and either way, it's going to function. It's at least going to keep the majority of the water off the seats. But with my luck, we're going to go through all this hassle and stress of learning how to do this and teaching myself how to do this just for us to not see a single drop of rain on that entire trip. So